they expect me to think that a product they've rushed to delivery in 3 months is somehow certifiably going to be safe. People need to remember the last time we did this, rushed a vaccine to the public, not using a new novel therapy, but a conventional therapy, was the swine flu scare of 1976. And several hundred or 400 people died or something like that in the United States from Guillain-Barré syndrome as a complication of the vaccine. And what people need to understand about complications of the vaccine is, like I said before, it's very difficult to prove causation. And when you're looking at immunological mechanisms of disease, it's very murky as to, there's not like a single domino that you can point to, right? Because the human body's a big place. There's a lot going on. And you can have a reaction start now that manifests as symptoms in 6 minutes, 6 days, 6 years, 12 months, whatever. You don't know what the time scale is going to be. So you have situations in which, perhaps somebody gets a vaccine and it causes some kind of strange change in their immune system. And then 3 or 4 years later, in a combination with other factors in their diet, lifestyle, and environment, they end up with autoimmune thyroid disease, which is why there's a number of papers out there showing that, there's a difference in certain diseases prevalences between vaccinated and non-vaccinated children. The question becomes, how big is the magnitude of this effect? And is it a true effect? Because it could also be artifact. You have tons of observational, poor quality research studies coming out showing statistically significant effects that end up being debunked with larger, more sophisticated studies. That's very important to keep in mind. But at the end of the day, the bottom line for me is still the same. I'm not confident in something that's just 3 months or 4 months or 5 months old, especially when somebody in my demographic has a near zero risk of dying from it. And I already know that I've been exposed. I haven't tested my antibodies recently, but I have no reason to think that I don't already have immunity. And even if I don't have a positive IgG response, well, if I was exposed and I didn't get it, then why am I not considered immune? And the strangest thing to come out of all of this is the way that herd immunity and conventional notions of infectious diseases are sort of being rewritten overnight. I mean, I have patients who are being tested with PCR at like their workplace or the school or whatever. And they come back to me and they say, Dr. Stillman, I had COVID-19. I have a positive antibody titer. If I took a vaccine and got a positive antibody titer, I would be, to any other virus in the entire world, in the history of medicine, I'd be considered immune, right? I mean, that's what I was taught in medical school.
Yes.
And here we are with this vaccine, and they're still saying, well, you may still need a mask and you may still need to do this. And I'm just like, what planet are you guys on? Did you invent a vaccine? Or does the vaccine not work? What's going on here? Why are your agreements not transparent? I mean, it just amazes me that these people don't see that there are basic standards that rational people who are skeptical would expect them to meet in terms of their a lack of conflicts of interest. And they're not doing that. And it's right to ask the question why.